शान औत्सुक्य मोहारतिदान जगानयोः अपूर्व वैद्याय नमोस्तु तस्मै. My prayers to Lord Dhanvantari.
All the participants are requested to mute their audios. Please mute your audios and videos.
I would like to seek blessings from my teachers, because of whom I am in front of you all today.
Okay.
People now?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
I would like to seek blessings from my teachers, because of whom I am placing my view. I am practicing. My teachers such as Dr. G. Srinivasacharya, Dr. Anjaneya Murthy, Dr. A. S. Prashant, Dr. B. Prasanna, Dr. Murali Sharma, Dr. UN Prasad, Dr. Shrikant Yu, and many more. So I did my graduation and in SDM, and I'm teaching in SDM since last 20 years. I did my post-graduation from Kaya Chikitsa, from Government Medical College, Mysore. Today, I will be placing my view I will be speaking about elucidating Pakshagat. This is right. Right. As you all know, whole world is facing lot of problem because of the pandemic COVID-19. There are several issues related with the pandemic, but one such issue is the educational system, and the whole world is moving towards offline to online teaching. And one such innovative methodology, that is online teaching. When we speak about this particular online teaching, we hear several terminology. All this terminology many a time looks same, many a time means the same, but there are several terminologies are used in the context, such as digital classroom, digital content delivery, digital learning, e-conference, e-seminar, Google Classroom, online learning, online seminar, remote learning, video conferencing, visual classroom, web conference, webinar, and so on. All these names related with one issue, that is offline to online teaching. Similarly, when we speak about Ayurveda, the disease Pakshagata, we will be hearing many terminology in relation with Pakshagata. Ekanga rogam tam vidyat sarvangam sarvadehajam. एकांगरोगम तम केचिदन्ये पक्षवधुः vadam viduः. So these are different terminology related with the title itself. But all these are Ikangaroga, Pakshagata, or Pakshvada, Sarvangaroga, Ardhangaroga, and many more synonyms are pathologically identical. They differ clinically. If only one limb is affected, then we call it as Ekangaroga. The one half of the body, the upper limb and the lower limb, with or without the involvement of the face, then we say it is Pakshagata or Ardhita. Like this, when both the sides are involved, then it is called as Sarvangaroga. And there is one more term linked with this particular title, that is Pakshagata, that is Ardhita. Ardhita is a variant of Pakshagata. Ardhe tasmin mukardeva kevale syat tadardhitam. Ardhita also, Ardhita Vyadhi also, the involvement of one half of the body is explained by Acharya Charaka. This is also a variant of Pakshagata because it is said by Charaka, Swastha syat ardhidadina muhurvegagame gate pidyate pidanestestein vishagetan viverje. This is Ardhita disease in the chronology in textbook. All these diseases are having one common factor, one common clinical presentation. That is muhurvege gate agate. That is the episodic nature. Ardhita comes in episode, and recovery, complete recovery. Recovers from neurological deficit completely. And the Chakrapani clarifies, Ardhito vegitaya na sarvakalam bhavati. Ardhangastu sarvakalam vyapya bhavati. Pakshagata will have permanent neurological deficit, whereas Ardhita, the characteristic feature is episodic nature. Patient will be symptom free in between the episodes. Ardhangatsu sarvakalam vyapyam bhavati. So that's the thing. So neurologically, the neurological manifestation in Ardhangavata or Pakshagata and Ardhita, they are similar, but their nature is different. One is a permanent neurological deficit with or without partial recovery. Another, a complete recovery, and in another episode at any future date. So in such occasion, when we have multiple terminology related with a disease, then how to understand a disease? Any disease need not be Pakshagata. Of course, Charaka says, Tasmat vikara prakritir adhisthana antarani cha samuthana visheshascha budvam karmam samacharet yo etas tritayam jnatva karmani arabate bishak jnanapurvam yatha nyayam sa karmasu na muhyati. Charaka is very clear in Sutrasthana. Charaka says, sa karmasu na muhyati. There is no confusion. For what? Karma. Karmani arabate bishak. For karma. Karma of a bishak is to treat. To treat, you should have a knowledge, of course. Which knowledge? He says, Jnanapurvam yatanayam. Jnana is agama or text. The thorough textual knowledge, of course. Then the clinical understanding, he says, Yo etas tritayam. Three things. One should understand these three things. Then it is very easy to treat a case. There will not be a confusion for a physician to treat any case. Which are they? Which are those tritaya of Ayurveda diagnosis? He says, Tasmat vikara prakriti. That is vikara prakriti. Each and every person has a prakriti. And this prakriti is based on the signs and symptoms, certain clinical findings. Similarly, vikara also has a prakriti. Santapo dehamanasa. Atidrava mala pravruti. Like this we explain. Vikara also has a prakriti. So that is clinical diagnosis. The term Pakshagata is a clinical diagnosis. It is not specifying any pathological diagnosis nor etiological diagnosis. It is a clinical diagnosis. Pakshagata is just a clinical diagnosis. And second part is Adhisthana Antaranicha. What is Adhisthana? Adhisthana, Sthana. Sthana refers to the site, the pathology, the pathological event which has taken place in a site, in an individual. So that is pathological diagnosis. That is pathological diagnosis. And the third one, Samuttana Visheshascha. Samuttana, Uttana or Hetu. So Hetu Visheshascha. Vishesha means any specific etiological factor. With that, sometimes it will be very easy to make a diagnosis. So these are considered as Tritaya of Ayurveda, Tritaya of diagnosis, Tritaya of Vyadhi Vinishchaya, that is Vikara Prakriti, that is clinical diagnosis, Adhisthana Antarani, that is pathological diagnosis, Samuttana Vishesha, that is etiological diagnosis. Of course, the physician must be intellect, he must be having intellect. Buddhvam karmam samacharet. The textual knowledge as well as insight regarding the text and the patient. Understanding the bridging between text and the patient. That insight physician should have. Then only a physician will get success in his clinical practice. Now, today's topic, that is Vikara Prakriti. Pakshagata in relation, Vikara Prakriti in relation with Pakshagata. I said Vikara Prakriti is clinical diagnosis. Clinical diagnosis is made on the basis of Vyadhi Pratiniyata Lakshana. Chakrapani says, Nidhanasthana, Vyadhi Pratiniyata Lakshana. He speaks about Vyadhi Pratiniyata Lakshana and he says, Jvara, Santapa, Dehemanasa, Atisara Dravamala, Atidravamala Pravritti. Like this, he gives examples. So, Vyadhi Pratiniyata Lakshana, we have to find out a Vyadhi Pratiniyata Lakshana or the cardinal feature in another words. Which is the cardinal feature? In case of Pakshagata, Pakshagata is predominantly a disease having motor weakness in limbs. Kuryat chestha nivrittimi. Padam sankochayate ekam hastam va. So motor weakness in limbs. Motor weakness in one limbs. And weakness may be from hemiparesis to hemiplegia. It is very clearly said, Yasya Krishnam Sharirardam Akarmanyam, that is hemiplegia. What is Akarmanya? Dalana says, Akarmanyam Ishat Karmakshayam. So hemiparesis to hemiplegia is the cardinal feature. When we see that presentation in a patient, we immediately say it is a case of Pakshagata. That's it. And further, if you analyze the symptomatology, in the textbook, you can see achetanam, unconsciousness, alpachetanam, altered higher mental functions, vakstambhame vacha, speech defects, padam sankochayati ekam hastam, spasticity in the limbs, sandhibandhan vimokshayan, disuse, atrophy. These are all motor system examination. Tujam, Toda, Shulam, Krit, sensory system examinations. So in a case of Pakshagata or a stroke or hemiplegia, we do examination. And we say we don't have a methodology in Ayurveda. No. If you analyze, everything is there. We assess the consciousness. We assess the higher mental functions. We then assess the speech, any speech defects. Then we assess motor function. Then we assess sensory function. Of course, in between, we also assess cranial nerve examination. Of course, the cranial nerve and its manifestations, all these are explained in the context of Ardhita. If you see Ashtanga Hridaya, so Vagbhata, missing link included by Vagbhata, he says, Gandhajnanam, that is olfactory nerve examination, Gandhajnana. It is not there in Charaka Shruta, the description of Ardita. Of course, Vagbhata included that also. Netradinam Chavaikritam, optic, oculomotor, abducent, trochlear, stabda netra, Netradinam Chavaikritam. So there are like this. If you analyze the Lakshana of Ardita, you will be able to see the cranial nerve examination. You will be able to see cranial nerve examination. Of course, invariably, an Ayurvedic physician should examine all these things: the level of consciousness, higher mental functions, the speech defects, then cranial nerves, motor functions, and sensory functions. They are essential to approach a patient, and further. And if you ask anybody, what is Pakshaghat? Generally, people will say it is hemiplegia, right? It is hemiplegia, undoubtedly. There is no doubt regarding that. Of course, what is the cardinal feature of hemiplegia? Weakness in one half of the body without involvement of face. Of course, it is same. It is same, right? And if you further understand the hemiplegia, causes of hemiplegia, and based on its onset and progress, we can say thrombotic stroke, embolic stroke, hemorrhagic stroke. And if you look into this, thromboembolism, the stroke because of the thromboembolism, thrombotic strokes. And if you are very keen regarding the Lakshana Samuchaya, that is signs and symptoms, the thrombotic stroke, the onset is sudden or sudden and progressive onset, stepwise evolution. The onset usually during sleep. If you further analyze a neurology textbook, if you go through a neurology textbook, the incidence of thromboembolism, the embolic stroke, thrombotic strokes, the incidence is very high at midnight or late night. And it is usually at night, in other words to say. And usually middle-aged and elderly people, are sufferers. Preservation of consciousness. Conscious is usually preserved, unless a major vessel is affected. A occlusion in a major vessel, the internal carotid itself, when the massive occlusion, naturally the consciousness is lost and there may be convulsions. Otherwise, in a routine practice, in usual cases, the conscious is preserved. There will not be headache, no seizure. And recovery is gradual. And there may be, at times, prodromal, transient ischemic attacks. Maybe, need not be always. And if you analyze through clinical or laboratory wise, the evidence of atherosclerosis, all these features, all these will be there in case of thrombotic stroke. And regarding the embolic stroke, abrupt development of complete stroke within few seconds, rapid partial involvement within minutes or to hour, occur at any time of the day, relative preservation of consciousness, occur in middle age or any age, no history of prodromal transient ischemic attack, but there may be evidence of recent stroke. The transient ischemic attack, patient will recover completely. Whereas in recent stroke, patient might have recovered partially, but the neurological findings will be there. So evidence of recent stroke may be there, but there will not be a history of transient ischemic attack and evidence of cardiac illness such as mitral stenosis, atrial fibrillation, carotid stenosis, or may at times a deep vein thrombosis, such manifestations. And coming to hemorrhagic stroke, the presence of hypertension, known or undetected, many a time in our social in our society undetected sometimes. Known or undetected hypertension and the onset of hemorrhagic stroke is usually catastrophic. Onset during waking hours of the day. That is in the daytime, usually, need not be always. And there will be preceding symptoms such as headache, vomiting, seizures. Seizures are very common in case of hemorrhagic stroke. And catastrophic onset with progression, gradually deepening stupor and coma. So the condition worsens as the time lapses. You may find nuchal rigidity, delayed recovery or no recovery at times, and patient may die sometimes. And based on the clinical presentations, we say hemiplegia in 3 headings. One is transient ischemic attack, that is an acute focal neurological deficit resulting from cerebrovascular disease with resolution of signs and symptoms within 24 hours. The resolution is always complete. A complete recovery is mandatory in case of TIA or transient ischemic attack. And another condition is RIND or reversible ischemic neurological deficit. Attack lasting longer than 24 hours, but with the complete clearance of signs and symptoms within 7 days. That is called as RIND. And one more category, that is complete stroke. Neurological deficit lasts longer than 7 days with or without partial recovery. So these are the 3 presentations we come across. The thrombotic, embolic, hemorrhage, these are underlying cause, and their clinical manifestation we have discussed. And the presentations, sometimes the stroke may be transient ischemic attack, or sometimes it may be RIND, or sometimes it is complete stroke. And now, Pakshagata. Based on the clinical presentation, a complete stroke is, of course, we just saw thrombotic. Thrombotic is usually a complete stroke with the preserved consciousness. Usually, the consciousness is intact in thrombotic stroke, and the stroke is complete. There will be partial recovery if at all recovery is there. And this particular description, this particular thrombotic stroke is similar to the descriptions of Charaka. Kuryat chesta nivrittimi rujam vakstambame vacha padam sankochayati ekam hastam va todashulakrats. And there is no issue related with the consciousness. There is no issue related with the seizure or the convulsions. It is all about a complete stroke explained by Charaka. And complete stroke, another category, that is hemorrhage or embolic. Hemorrhage or embolic with partial or complete loss of consciousness, and it is very clearly mentioned by Sushruta, that is Sharirardham Akarmanyam, that is stroke. Achetanam, loss of consciousness, is a characteristic feature in case of hemorrhagic stroke, and that is explained by Sushruta. He says, Patati asunva tejati anila pidita, he is going to die at times, he may die. So all this hemorrhagic stroke, hemorrhagic or maybe embolic stroke, is explained by Sushruta. And based on the clinical presentation, a transient ischemic attack or TIA or reversible ischemic neurological deficit, RIND. So episodes of neurological deficit is the characteristic feature, and patient recovers completely in the prescribed time. And this particular manifestation, as I said earlier, it is nothing but the Ardhita as according to Charaka. So probably with this, the Vikara Prakriti. The descriptions of Pakshagata as per Charaka is probably holds good with a complete stroke, and that is thrombotic stroke. And transient ischemic attack or reversible ischemic neurological deficit, the description once again it is Charaka's description of Ardita, and hemorrhagic stroke or embolic stroke, wherein the conscious is completely lost, or partially or complete loss of consciousness is observed. That is the description given by Sushruta. And the next method of making a diagnosis, that is Adhisthana Antaranija. That is nothing but pathological understanding. When we speak about pathological understanding of Pakshagata, we say Pakshagata is a Madhyama Roga Marga. Pakshavada Arditha Madhyama Marganusarino Bhavanti Rogaha, Charaka Sutra 11. And it is Nanatmaja Vikara. Arditam cha ekanga rogam sarvanga rogascha sarvanga rogascha pakshavadascha iti ashitir vata vikaraha. And further, dosha involved in this particular Pakshagata is definitely vata dosha. Vata dosha is the whole and soul responsible for the manifestation of Pakshagata. Further, which is the dosha? Dosha could be Dhatu, Upadhatu, Mala, Manas, Indriya, Ashaya, anything. It need not be only the Dhatu. It could be Upadhatu. It may be Manas. It may be Indriya, like that. Now, in case of Pakshagata, which are the dosha inward? Now, Charaka says, Bahyabhyantaram ayamam khalli kubjatvamevacha sarvanga ekanga rogascha kuryat snayugate anila. Pakshagata is snayugata vata. And of course, Charaka, while explaining ekanga roga or Pakshagata, he says, Raitvardat sharirasya sirasnayu vishoshacha Adam sankochaiti ekam hastam vato shulakats. Sira, he added Sira in the context of Pakshagata. In general, he said it is Snayugata Vata. In the context of Pakshagata, he added Sira. And Sushruta said about Dhamanir Adogama Satiryaga Dhamanir Urdo Dehaga Yada Prakupito Atyartam Matarishva Prapatyate. He speaks about Dhamani in the context of Pakshagata. And what are these? What are these? What is Snayu? When we speak about Snayu, of course, its nearest relative is Kandara, Stula Snayu Kandara or Mahasnayu Kandara. Snayu and Kandara we easily compare with that of the ligaments and tendon. Of course, I do agree to a certain extent. It also sounds in another way. The another meaning of Snayu and Kandara I would like to place in front of you. It is said, Nahi asthini na va peshu na sira na cha sandayah vyapaditas tatha hanyur yata snayu sharirina. It means yata snayur vyapadita sati sharirinam purusham hanti na tata astyadini hanti. What Sushruta says, injury to snayu may lead to severe impact or may kill an individual. Hantyu means asadhya. Asadhya is yapya asadhya and pratyakya. So we have to consider it as yapya asadhya, that is severe impact, or maybe pratyakya, it may kill. So if it is a ligament or a tendon, we cannot say it is going to kill an individual, right? And it is also said, Na tata asthadini hantyu. Injury to asthi will not be so severe. It means there is something beyond ligament and tendon in the understanding of Snayu. Of course, Ashtanga Sangraha, Vagbhata says, Snayur bandhana hi sandishu subadha tanur nauriva samyagihate tasmat asti siradibhyo aphi Tani yatnato rakshet. Sandhi is a place where two or more structures are involved. We know that We know that Sandhi is the place where movement does takes place. Sandhi is the place where movement takes place. Sandhi is a structure where two or more structures are involved, and then also Sushruta say, Vagbhata say, Vruddha Vagbhata says, Snayu Bandhanaur hi Sandhishu. It is Snayu Bandhana. Sandhi is Sandhi, Asti, Siradi structures. Maybe Snayu also part of that, or maybe in addition to Sandhi, Snayu. And what he says, Subadha, it's proper innervation. I would like to give a term, Subadha, it's innervation, proper innervation is essential in an individual. Sandhi, in each and every Sandhi, it's essential. Then only the karma, Sandhi, functions of karma, Sandhi, functions of Sandhi, that will takes place. That's a reason. Tani yatnado rakshad, you need to protect equally. You need to protect equally. And further it is said that the commentator says, Eterhi Snayu bandhanais tanuhu Sandhi pradesheshu avabadda sati samyagihate sadhu kritvat cheshtate. It is the Snayu that is responsible for samyagihate sadhu kritvat cheshtate. It is Snayu which is responsible for proper movement of Sandhi. Probably Snayu in innervation is essential. Its integrity of Snayu integrity is very essential for the movement of a joint. Of course, Bahyabhyantaram ayamam kalli kubjatumevacha sarvanga ekanga rogascha kuryat snayugate anile. If you look into this, Bahyabhyantaram ayamam, definitely neurological disease. Kalli is definitely neurological disease. Vishwachi, Gradrasi, Choktha, Kalli, Tivra Rujanvite. It's a sensory manifestation, peripheral nervous system, right? Then Sarvanga Ekanga Roga, undoubtedly nervous system, except Kubja. Kubja is not a dwarfism, it is all about skeletal deformity of the chest, whatever it is, Madhamidana, that is whatever it is. And now, if you look into this, most of Snayugata Vikara denotes neurological disease. To support my view, when it is diseases, when Snayu is disease, neurological manifestation. Further, Nauryata, Sushruta says, Nauryata palaka astirna bandhanehi bahubhistatha bharakshama bhavetapsus nruyukta susamahita. What Sushruta says, mere presence of wooden slabs and other materials required to build a boat is not sufficient enough to functionally active boat. Functionally active, bharakshama bhavetapsus. Functionally active, its presence is no use. Right? Similarly, evameva sharire asmin yavantaha sandaya smrata. Similarly, there is sandhi in the body. Sandhi is area where multiple structures are there. Similar in the similar manner, everything is there. Ayubihi bahubis baddha sthaneva bharasahanara. Similarly, mere presence of structures related to sandhi are not sufficient to have functions of sandhi. Without sandhi, without snayu, sandhi cannot perform function. That is chesta movement. So that's the reason Snayugatavada. Of course. Then about Sira as a dusha. What is Sira? Generally, we have a tendency to say Sira is vain. Agree, don't have any problem. But if you see, if you look into Sushruta, the different types of Vata, Pitta, Kaphaja, Raktaja, Sira, we know that all the types and numbers we know. Then if you look into Vataja Sira, what Sushruta says, Kriyanam apratigatham amoham buddhi karmanam karoti anyan gunaschapi swasira bhavanascharan. He says, Kriyanam apratigatham, a prakrita Vatasira. What he says, Kriyanam, Kaya Kriyanam, Prasarana Kunchanadi, Vakriyanam, Bashitadina. All motor activities and speech. Then, Amoham Buddhi Karmanam. What is this? Buddhi Karmanam iti Panchanam Buddhindriyanam. That is sensory activities. All motor activity, speech and sensory activities are controlled by Vatasira. Right? And when there is a Vikriti in this particular Vatasira, what is the manifestation? Sushruta says, Yada tu kupito vayuhu swasira pratipadyate tada asya vividha roga jayante vata sambhava. When this particular vata sira gets vitiated, then patient is likely to develop vata roga. So that's the reason Charaka included sira in the context of ekanga roga, pakshagata, sarvanga roga. Then coming to Sushruta and Damani. Damani as Dusha, as told by Sushruta. Right. Damani, many a time it is said as the artery. Agree. But there is some other meaning also for this. It looks like nervous system. Sushruta says, Urdvaga, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Prashvasochvasa, Jarambita, Kyudita, Sita, Katita, Ruditadinam, Visheshanam, Abhayavantyah. Dvabhyam Pratipudyate. Like this, the description goes. If you analyze these functions, all the sensory functions related to the autonomous nervous system above the level of navel, above the umbilicus. That is etabi rurdvam nabir udaradayo dharyante. Nabir urdvan. That is autonomous nervous system. Pratvasochvasa jarambitha, autonomous nervous system. He is speaking about autonomous nervous system and in the context of Damani. And he says, he is very clear. Nabir udara, urdhva. That is autonomic system above the level of the nerve. And he also says higher mental functions. So this is about Urdhvaga Damani. Further, Tiragga sampravakshami karmam chasam yathayatam, regarding Tiraggatha Damani, he says, Yaihi Svedam abhivahanti rasam cha abhitarpayanti antarbahishcha. Svedam abhivahanti, sweat is because of Bhashya Sira, Tiryaggata Sira. And here he says, Rasam cha abhitarpayanti antarbahishcha. Of course, rasa becomes, that rasa contains Sweda Bhava. This Sweda Bhava, when reaches to the Romakupa, then sweat is formed. That's the reason. Dosha Svedambu Vahini Srotamsi Samadishtha Antaragnischa Parshvas. Dosha Ambuva Srotas, everything is related to Ambu. Sorry, that is related to Kostha, Antaragni. And all this together. Rasa refers to Rasa Rupo Dhatu Kimva Rasatiti Raso Dravadhatu Ruchate Tena Rudiradinam Api Dravanam Grahanam Bhavati. So Rasa will be carrying Sweda Rupa Dravya to the periphery. And in Romakupa, Sweda is formed and expelled outside. That is Bahishcha. And Anta. What is this Anta? Anta is when we are doing a lot of Bahir Parimarjan Chikisa, and this Bahir Parimarjan Chikisa, the drugs are absorbed into the system through this Romakupa, and that's the reason we get a result. That is understanding as per Dalanas. Of course, it is beyond that. It is said in Charaka. Charaka says, Svedascha Baheshu Svotasu Pratihata Gati Avatishtamana Tadeva Udakam Apyayanti, in the context of Udara says, Svedascha Baheshu Svotasu Pratihata Gatis. What is Baheshu Svotasu Pratihata Gati? Bahir Gantum Asamatam. In case of dehydration, sweat should not, there should not be sweating. Fluid should be retained. So Bahir Gantum Asamartam. So now in such occasion, what happens? Tiryak Avatistamana is Sweda. Sweda Rupi Rasa, that is there. That becomes Udakam Apyaya. In the case of, in any case of need, so then sweat is blocked and it is converted into Udaka. That is Antarbahishcha. It is fluid regulation through sweat. Of course, this is once again autonomous nervous system. It is once again autonomous nervous system explained by Sushruta. And if you go through the Adogama Dhamani, he says Adogama Stuvata Mutra Purisha Shukra Artavadi Nyado Vahanti. He says excretion of all waste. Shukra Pravati, Artava Pravati, autonomous nervous system below the level of the umbilicus, below the navel region. All these are controlled by Adogadamani. Of course, all these says, we can infer by this reference, it is probably is referring to nervous system, but it is not so. The very existence of any tissue in the body is because of rasa and rakta, because rasa is responsible for preenan of each and every paramanu in the sharira, and rakta is responsible for jivana of each and every paramanu in the sharira. So what he says by saying Adogadamani, he says, Tastu pittashayam abhiprapannam tatrastameva annapanarasam vipakvam ausnyat vivechayantyo abhivahantyah shariram arpayanti cha urtvaganam tiryaganam cha rasasthanam cha abhipurayanti. Very important. Rasasthanam cha abhipurayanti. And summarizing this, Dalana made it very clear, organized. Dalana says, Ayam abhiprayam ama pakwashay ado nabirevevam. That is ama pakwashay region. That is in between amashay and pakwashay, that is pittashay. Annaraso vartuli krato rasasthanasya purnam. The annarasa is formed. Ama pakwashay Andhra Pradesh. Annarasa is formed. Vartuli bhutam, that is portal veins. Through the portal veins, it is taken into the system. Rasasthanam chapurna, we know that Rasasthan is Hridaya. It will be reaching to the Hridaya. When it reaches the Hridaya, then it is called as Rasa Dhatu. Till then it is Ahara Rasa, Annarasa. When it reaches the Rasasthana, then Tatascha, Urdhvagabhis, Tiryagabhischa, Tatra Upaniyata iti Sakala Sharira Tarpanam Adogatanam Eva Karma. Once it reaches the Hridaya, from Hridaya, it will be going to Urdhvagadamani, Adogadamani, Tirikdamani, every damani. So that's the reason he says Rasasthanam cha Hridayam, Tatpurnam cha. Tatpurna, that Rasasthana, the Ahara Rasa reaching to Hridaya, that is Adogadamani. Then Tanishpaditar Rasa Paramparaya, na Punar Sakshadeva. Adogadamani is not directly nourishing Urdhvagadamani or Tiryagatahani. It will reach the Ahara Rasa to the Hridaya. From there, it is Rasa Parampara. We know Rasa to Rakta, Rakta to Mamsa, all that Rasa Parampara. Thereby it nourishes the whole body. Right? That's what in the chronology, Ahara Rasa is formed in Ama Pakwasha, Andhra Pradesh or Pittasthana. Adogadamani carries Ahara Rasa to Rasasthan, that is Hridaya. From there, from Rasasthan, that is Hridaya, Rasa will be entering into Urdhvaga and Tiryak Damani, and thereby nourishes whole body. Rasa stands for Rasa, Rakta, Adi, Dravadhatu. I said earlier, Raso Rupa Dhatu, Kimva Rasatiti, Raso, Dravadhatu Ruchate, Tena Rudiradinam, Dravanam, Grahanam Bhavate. This is Chakrapani quoting on quoting on Charaka, Chikisa, 15th chapter, sloka number 36. Vyanena Rasadhaturi, Vikshepochita Karmana, Yugapat Sarvato Ajasram, Dehe Vikshipati Sada. Vyanamata takes Rasa Raktadi Dravadhatu all over the body, thereby maintains normal function. So Vyana, it is Vyana that is responsible for circulation. So circulation in 2 lines as per Charaka. It is beautifully explained by Sushruta in Sharirasthana 9th chapter. So Damani refers to circulatory system. Of course, this Sushruta said about hemorrhagic stroke. Achetanam. Same Sushruta said Dhamani in the context of Pakshagata. So it is a vascular disease explained by Sushruta. Anyway, and now one topic, Pakshagata, but so many terminologies. Why this so many terminologies? Sushruta says, Kevalantu Paraspara Sannikarshat Sadrisha Agama Karmatvat Saukshmyacha vibhakta karmanam api avibhaga iva karmasu bhavati. There exists a controversy, there exists a confusion, and all these confusions are because of proximity, that is paraspara sannikarsha, sadrisha agama, that is confusing statement, state, this is text, sadrisha karmatvad, that is similar functions, saukshmyat, minuteness. So for us, vibhakta karmanam api avibhaga iva karmasu, so we have to consider contextual meaning in our text when we read a text. Our reading, the primary motto of reading our text is to clarify, not to confuse people. Right, further. Now we have understood which is the dosha and which is the dusha, how it is involved, why it is involved, all these things are over. Now what is this? Where is sana samshaya takes place? Where is the adhisthana? Charaka very clearly mentioned, Vatadaya prakupyanti shirasi asramcha dushyati. Tataha shirasi jayante roga vivida lakshana jari. This is Charaka Sutta 17, Kiyanta shirasi. And further he says, arditam shirasa kampo galamanya hanugraha vividascha apare roga vatadi krimisambhava. Which are the shira roga as per Charaka? He says, arditam, not only ardava bedakku. He says, arditam shirasa kampo galamanya hanugraha vividascha apare roga vatadi. So, Dushta Vata dosha takes Sthana Samshaya in Shiras. Particularly vitiates Rakta Dhatu at Shiras, not Sarvadehika. If Sarvadehika, then Kushta Visarpadi Vikara. But if it is only in the Shiras, the manifestation is Shiroroga. There are multiple manifestations related to Shiroroga, Ardita, Shirasa Kampa, Galamanya, Anugra, Ardita, Ekangroga, all this. So, results in Ardita, etc. Vatavya. And we know that Shiras is adhisthana of Indriya, Pranaha, Pranabhata, Yatrashrita, Sarvindriyani, Yaduttamangam, Manganam, Shirastada Bhiyate. Shiras is Sarva Indriya Sthana. And Pakshagata, Indriya Karmahani, we are observing Karmendriya particularly and sometimes Jnanendriya also. That's the reason adhisthana must be Shiras. Further, Charaka says in Siddhisthana, Shirasi Indriyani. Indriya pranavahani cha srotamsi suryamiva gabhastayaha samshritani. Very beautiful simile he has given. How we draw Surya, sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. How we draw sun, Surya. We draw a circle. Then we draw lines to denote rays. He says, Shirasi Indriyani. Then regarding that is circle. Okay, then Indriya Pranavahani Srumta, that is lines surrounding, right? Surrounding the circle. So that is efferent and efferent nerves. Suryamiva Gabhasteha. So Shiras is the controlling authority of all the nerves, nervous system. So Shiras is Adhisthana, Sthana Samshaya. Hence, Karma Vaiparitya in the form of in Karmendriya and Jnanendriya takes place in Pakshagata. Right? So this is all about Adhisthana Antarani. Then coming to pathological diagnosis over, then coming to etiological diagnosis or Samuttana Visheshascha. That is Samuttana etiology, Vishesha specific etiological factors. Right. Right. It is said, Vayor Dhatukshayat Kopo Margasya Avarnena cha. It is said, Vayor Dhatukshayat Kopo Margasya Avarnena cha. Vatavyadhi, Nidana. Vatavyadhi Nidana. It is said that all the Nidana can be grouped under two headings, that is Dhatukshaya and Margava. And apart from this, it is Samuttana Vishesha, isn't it? So that is any specific etiological factors. So if you analyze the etiological factors given in the Samvita, Dhatunam Sanshaya Tinta Ashoka Rogati Karshanat. So one important etiological factor is Rogati Karshana. That acts as Pradhanika hit. So we analyze Nidana. Sannikrishta, Viprakrishta, Pradhanika, Vibhichari, like Pradhanika hit. Right? Then Abhigata, Pradhanika hit. Ajay, Ushtra, Ashwa, Shigrayana, Patamsana, these are all variants of Abhigata. How Abhigata takes place. That is Abhigata only. Then Kshaya Hetava, if you look into Charaka Sutra 17th, Kshaya Hetava, Dhatu Kshaya, that results in Vata Vyadhi. Of course, Kshaya Heta, one of the specific Vata, Kshaya Hetu is Bhutopagatascha, that is Bhutabhishanka. So these we have to explain separately, I feel. And in general, Dhatu Kshaya and Margavarna. And coming to Dhatu Kshaya, so Dhatu Kshaya is responsible for Vata Vyadhi, undoubtedly. And the manifestation of Dhatu Kshaya, how Dhatu Kshaya manifests clinically, clinical manifestation of Dhatu Kshaya in two means. One is sudden onset, another is gradual onset. It is said by Charaka, Sadhya Kshino hi sadhyo vai tarpanena upachiyate. That means whenever there is Sadhya Kshinatha, whenever there is Sadhya Kshina, Sadhyo vai tarpanena upachiyate, you have to replenish immediately. Then there is vomiting, diarrhea, you have to replenish. Right? Narte santarappanabhyasat chirakshina pushati. In chirakshina nataye, you should never go for giving infusions. In chirakshina, of course, you have to consider dehagni, dosha, besha, all this, that's another issue. Now, sadhyakshina and chirakshina. Chirakshina, the onset is gradually progressive manifestation clinically. And sadhyakshina is always sudden onset. Right? And further, and Sadhyakshina and Chirakshina in relation with Pakshagata and Vatyavadi. What he says, Dosha Sravanat Athi. Charaka said, Rukshashi Talpalagvanna, Vyavayati Prajagare, Chirakshina Nidana, Vishamad, Upacharascha. All these are the Chirakshina hit. And if you are very keen, Dosha Sravanat Athi. Asrik Sravanat Athi. If there is massive blood loss, that is external bleeding, not internal bleeding. If there is external bleeding, massive blood loss, then Sadhyakshina. And all other causes explained in this context in the reference, which is shown in the slide, that is Chirakshina. And Sushruta very clearly said, Ati Usne, Ati Sivinne, Ati Vidder, Ajner, Visavitam, Ati Pravartate. What may be the cause for Ati Pravartana of Rakta? Whenever excessive bleeding, that is the context of Raktamokshana, in that context says, whenever excessive Raktamokshana done, excessive bleeding takes place, then what happens? What are the clinical manifestations? Sushruta says, Tadati pravrittam shiro abhitapam andyam adimantam timiram pradurbhavam dhatu kshayam akshepakam daham pakshagatam ekanga vikaram. Like this continues, this is Sushruta Sutra 14th. He says whenever there is excessive external bleeding, then one of the manifestations is Pakshagata, Ekanga Vikara. So, Sadhyakshina refers to dosha Savanadati, volume loss, blood loss, resulting in neurological manifestation in the form of Ekanga Roga, Pakshagata. So, Sadhyakshina, sudden onset. Sadhyakshina acts as Vyadhi. And it is also, from the disease point of view, it is Pradhanik Hetu. And if you are, Sadhyakshina once again provokes Vata, right? If you are looking from the point of dosha, this is Achaya Purvaka Hetu. And it is also Una Bhava Hetu, where suddenly dosha prakopa takes place because of Sadhyakshina, dosha Sravanat. And Chirakshina is a gradual onset. It is not specific of any of the disease. It is a group of disease. Vata Vyadhi in general can manifest because of Dhatu Kshaya. So here, Chirakshina Nidana is dosha hetu, not specific of any Vyadhi. And it is Vyabhichari hetu, right? And in dosha also, it is chayapurvaka dosha kopa. Gradually progressive, chayapurvaka. Katinya hetu, that is, gradually disease becomes katinya. Gradually dosha kopa takes place. From the point of dosha kopa, it is gradually developing that chayapurvaka hetu or katinya hetu, as explained by Charaka. And most pakshagata in our clinical practice are sudden onset, and hence chirakshina nidana are excluded because chirakshina is gradual onset. But most pakshagata in clinical practice are sudden onset. So only option sadhyakshina. Sadhyakshina. So in such occasion, vyadhi hetu such as bahya raktasrava is must. A patient party should give a history of volume loss or blood loss, or we should get an evidence of volume loss, blood loss. Of course, massive blood loss, that is hypovolemic shock, may result in watershed cerebral infarction. The description you may go through further. Coming to Margavarna. Margavarna is a pathological term. Margavarna is a pathological term. And it is said, Charaka said, Kupitasto samudduya tatra tatra kshipan gadan karoti avrata margatvat rasadimsha upashoshe. What he says, Kupitasto, Kupito bhavati, ata bhavatu marga rodat vatakopa. Vata gets vitiated. By whom? Samudduya. Samudduya by whom? Ata kupitaha. Pitta kafo samudduya. Margavana by pitta or kapadosha. And what he says, karoti avrta margatvat. Vata gati is obstructed. Margavarna vega pratibandha deva. Vata gets obstructed. So vata gati is obstructed, and it is going to, it will be vitiated. And the interesting thing what he says, avarakena tu pittena kapena cha asya katam na sambandho bhavati iti ah. So here avaraka dosha, pitta or kapha dosha lakshana is not manifested. It is the vata dosha, it is the vata dosha. Avruta lakshana is seen, not avaraka dosha. That's the reason I am very clear it is Margavana, it is not Avarana. In case of Avarana, Pitta Avrata Vata, you will be able to see Pitta Lakshana and Pitta Chikissa. And in case of Kapavrata Vata, they are also Kapa Lakshana and Kapa Chikissa. Whereas in Margavana, it is entirely different. It is entirely different, very clearly explained by Chakrapani. That Avarakena tu pittena kapena cha asya katam na sambandho bhavati iti. Bhavatu margavarodat vata kopaha, only vata gets vitiated and vata manifestation. So where does Margavana takes place? Margavana takes place rasadimsha upashoshayati. It takes place in rasadi, that is rasaraktadi marga. Where exactly? In which part of the body? Tatra tatra, he said tatra tatra. So that means the process of Margavana is generalized, maybe generalized. But wherever occlusion takes place, Margavana takes place, there the Lakshana manifests. So depending upon the site of Margavana, the Lakshana manifests. Tatra tatra padeshe karoti. And distal to the site of obstruction, Margavarana, Rasadimsha upashochet, Rasadimsha tatra kshipan samshochet. Distal to the site of Margavana, there will be Dhatukshaya, Rasa Raktakshaya. That is, there is no Pridana, no Jivana, tissue death. Tissue deaths. So Margavana in short, Margavana is a pathological term. Margavana by Pitta or Kapha dosha. Vata gati is obstructed. Vata dosha gets vitiated. Avaraka dosha, Pitta, Kapha doesn't produce any symptom. Margavana occurs at Rasarakthadi Marga. Process of Margavana may be generalized, but clinical manifestation at any place, depending upon the site of Margavana, Lakshana manifests. Distal to the site of Margavana, there will be Dhatukshaya, Rasaraktakshaya. It is said. Margavarana is Rasamarga. Why Rasamarga? It is said very clearly by Sushruta. Tatra Anna Shraddha Rochaka Vipakanga Mardajwarallasa Tripti Gauravarallasa Panduroga Margoparodha. Very clearly Sushruta mentioned Margoparodha Rasa Doshaja Vikara. And Rasa refers to Rasa Raktadi, I just explained already, it is more. And Rasa Rakta Dhatu moves all over the body and maintains normal functions when there is Margoparodha distal to the site of obstruction. There is no prenana, no jivana, cell death, and you will be having symptoms. And Vyanavata takes this rasa all over the body. Further. In the context of Pakshagata, most commonly Kapha Margavarana, Kapadosha. Kupite Margasamrodhan Medaso va Kapasya va Ativradyat Anile. It is very clearly said in Vataraktadhyaya. He also said Ativradya Anile. Margavana by Kapha Medha. Then Ativradya Anile. Right? And what is this Rasamarga? It is Margavana and Rasamarga. Rasanimittamev Staulyam Karsham. And in the context, Sushruta says, Avrata Margatva Deva Sheshadatavo na api ayanti attirtam alpaprano bhavati prameha pidaka jara bagandara vidradhi. Then he says, Vata vikaranam sarva eva chasya roga balavanto bhavanti avrata margatvat sudasham. Vata vikara because avrata marga. Chalana clarifies. Vata vikaranam iti atra Vata vikara medakrita Margavana nimitta vatakopahitya. That means it is Margavana by Kapha or Meda dosha, because Meda and Kapha are interrelated. We know that, we not explain. And regarding Margavana, furthermore clarification. It is because of the Kapha dosha, Sleshma vikaramsha vimshatim matha. And Charaka says, Damani pratichayascha. What is this Damani pratichaya? Chakrapani comments in another context, Charaka Sutra 26, he says, Damani pratichayo, Damani upalepaha. Damani pratichaya is Kapajananatmikara, Damani pratichaya refers to Damani upalepa. Damani pratichaya refers to Siraja Granthi, that is Margavana occlusion, Siraja Granthi. This is Chakrapani. Then, this is Kapaja Vikara, it's because of Santarpana. Santarpana nimitta, rogastasya upajayanti, Santarpana nimitta, where Charaka says, Indriya, Sotasam lepa. Damani pratichaya or Sotasam lepa is nothing, Damani pratichaya is nothing but Sotasam lepa. That's because of Santarpana. Santarpana provokes Vata, sorry, Kapadosha. And then, Sotasam lepa, how come? Sotasam lepa because of Abhishandi guna. It is said by Dallana, Maha Abhishandi iti dosha dhatu mala srutasam atishayena kledakariti artha. Anyetu anyatha krutva patanti. What he says, this is very important for us. Radayastha anna niryasa vahi sroto mukhani. Yat. What is Radayastha anna niryasa? Radaya, anna rasa reaches Radaya and then becomes rasa. Radayastha anna rasa niryasa vahi sroto mukha refers to rasavashu. Bhuktam limpati paichilyat abhishandi. Abhishandi dravya. That is good, that is having pichila guna. This pichila guna limpati. It sticks to the srotas. That is atherosclerosis. I have crossed the timings. Anyway, let me continue. So this is all about Margavana and atherosclerosis. Further, how does Margavana takes place clinically? Now we have understood Pakshagata based on clinical onset, sudden onset with or without the consciousness, all that we discussed earlier. Now how does Margavana takes place? It is very clearly said by Vagbhata, Avruto doshalingani so animittam pradarshet. Margavana is always sudden. Animittam, that means akasmat. It is always sudden. That is very important. Second thing, I said thrombotic stroke usually at night, right? And Nyaya Chandrika commentary on Sushruta, commentator Gayadasa says, what he says, Visheshato Ratravitihi. उत्पिष्टो हि चूर्णितत्वेन अतिशय मार्गावरणकुपितस्य वायोर्निशायामेव विशेषेण कोपात्. The incidence of Margavana is usually high at night. It is also observed by our Acharya. So most Pakshagata are sudden in onset. Hence, Margavana need to be considered because Margavana is animittam pradarshit. And thrombosis or thromboembolism is generally because of atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is a manifestation of Kapha dosha. Atherosclerosis clinically presents with the TIA or RIND or complete stroke. The onset of thrombosis induced stroke is sudden and usually at night, as with that of Margavarna. Absence of loss of consciousness is a characteristic feature. Hence, Ardita and Pakshagata description of Acharya Charaka holds good. The next few more slides. That is Rogati Krishna. That is when in a clinical situation, a patient presenting with headache, vomiting, seizure, altered sensorium, altered consciousness, then we, with the neurological deficit, we say it is hemorrhagic stroke. Very clearly, very easily, because we read modern textbooks. Now, it is also told by Sushruta, that is Akarmanyam Achetana, right? And the cause of hemorrhage is hypertension aneurysm in the modern text. How to understand? So hemorrhagic stroke preceded by headache, vomiting, loss of consciousness, seizures, convulsions. That is increased intracranial pressure. Increased intracranial pressure exhibits several lakshana. That is ultimately loss of consciousness. So that is loss of consciousness. In our text, it is Mada Murcha Sannyasa. And Mada Murcha Sannyasa is the presenting feature of Pakshagata. And now looking into, if you go through the causes of Mada Murcha Sannyasa, of course, everything is because of dosha. And very specifically, what he says, Charaka says, Yascha Madhyakritha Prokto Vishajo Raudirascheha Sarva Evi Madanarte Vata Pitta Kafastrayam. Of course, we know that most of the Gara Visha, Dushi Visha are Shirakari. So Visha is excluded, Madhya is also excluded, remaining is Rakta Dushti. Coming to Rakta Dushti. If you look into the Charaka Sutrasthana 24th Vidishonita, you will get Rakta Dushti Lakshanas. I have highlighted many of the things. That is Rakta Pitta, Vaivarnya, Shirashasharuk, Krodha Pachurata, Buddhe Sammoha, Svedaha, Sharira Durgandhya, Mada, Kampa, all these features are suggestive of hypertension and hypertensive encephalopathy. And Mada Murcha Sannyasa are the presenting features of the illness present, and this is because of Rakta Dushti and Mada Murcha Sannyasa Samprapti. Yada tu Rakta Vahini Rasa Sanya Vahini cha Pratak Samastava Srotamsi Kupita Malaha Malina Harshilasya Rajo Moha Vratatmanaha. That is Sannyasa Samprapti. That is Rakta Vahashrotas, Rasa Vahashrotas, Kupita Dosha, all these things. Right? And Rasa Samnya Vahashrotas. Then, if you look into Shiroga Samprapti, that is Vata Vyadi Samprapti, Vatadaya Prakupyante Shirase Asramja Dushyate Shirasi Jayante Roga Vivida Lakshana. So they are also Vata Dosha, Shiras, there to Rasa Raktadi Marga, Shiras, we know that. So Samprapti of Mada Murcha Sannyasa, Samprapti of Vata Roga, particularly Pakshagata Samprapti, is almost similar, identical. So Rakta Dushti in Shiras results in Mada Murcha Sannyasa and followed by Pakshagata. So Akarmanyam Achetanam explained by Sushruta. Pakshagata is because of Shunita Abhishanda or Shunita Dushti hypertension. Of course, Damani, he said vascular system, Damani, I said. So Damani is explained by Charaka. Anyway, and if you go through Sushruta Chikitsa, particularly Pakshagata Chikitsa, he said, Akshepaka Vidanena Vachari. So adopt Akshepaka Chikitsa in Pakshagata. Right? This Sushruta's description of Pakshagata, that is hemorrhagic stroke. One of the characteristic feature of hemorrhagic stroke is convulsions. He said, Akshepaka Vidanena Upachari. So this is another evidence to say that hemorrhagic stroke, Sushra's description. And another condition, Rogati Karshana. We know that nowadays, embolic stroke, mitral stenosis, atrial flutter, atrial fibrillation, or deep vein thrombosis. So cardiac illness resulting in neurological manifestation. Do we have any such description? No, there is no direct reference stating cardiac illness or the description Radroga like Pakshagata. No such description, but it is very clearly said. Apatanaka and Apatantraka is explaining Charaka 69 chapter, where it is said that Radrogam Apatanakamaha. It is a cardiac illness, but manifestation is neurological. Cardiac illness resulting in Shira Shankocha Shira Pidayan Radayam Gatva. The disease located in Radaya, but Gatva Shiraha Shankocha Pidayan. It reaches Shira Shanka and produces manifestation in the form of Apatantraka, Apatanaka. So in this way, neurological manifestations are well known to Ayurveda, and neurological manifestation is because of Radroga, that is also well known to Ayurveda. The next few more slides. That is Bhutopagatasya Jnatavya Kshayahetava. So neurological manifestation follows fever, GB syndrome, such manifestations, multiple sclerosis sometimes, or transverse manitis, GB syndrome, such diseases will have a history of fever followed by neurological manifestation. We know that Bhutabhishanga results in Vishamajvara, and we know that it is Bhishanga is a cause for Dhatukshaya, that is Pakshagata is possible because of Bhutabhishanga. Now, the last one is Abhigata. And Abhigata is a well-known cause for Vatakopa. Abhigatat, Abochanat, Abhigata, like this Vayu Prakopa Abhidante. And if I say Shiro Abhigata is responsible for Pakshagata or Ekangaroga, there will not be any doubt, because it is very clearly said and we come across with such history. But it is said Lohitaksha Marma, Kakshadharma Marma, that is also responsible for Pakshagata. Tatra Lohitakshena Pakshagata, Kakshadare Pakshagata, Sushruta Sharira 6th chapter. Here Pakshagata, word Pakshagata stands for Ekangarogam Tam Kechidanye Pakshavadam Viduhu Sarvangarogam. We have to consider it as synonym of Ekangaroga. If you look into the panplexopathy, plexopathy is a disorder affecting a network of nerves, blood vessels, or lymph vessels. The region of nerves it affects are at the brachial and lumbar plexus. The symptoms include pain, loss of motor control, and sensory deficits. There are two main types of plexopathy, that is brachial panplexopathy and lumbosacral panplexopathy. The commonest one is brachial panplexopathy. Of course, lumbosacral plexopathy is a little bit rare, but this Lohitaksha Marma and Kakshadhara Marma description definitely holds good. It is not a mistake by Sushruta. With this, I would like to stop my deliberations. I have taken extra time. Anyway, I would like to thank Dr. Fatima ma'am, Principal, Aranatha Government Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, Ballari, for giving me an opportunity to place my views with you all. Dr. Madhava Diggave, HOD, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, a renowned name in the field of Ayurveda, who has considered me, has given an opportunity to express my view with you all. I would like to thank sir. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the faculty of Department of Kaya Chikitsa as well as Dr. Chetan, Department of Homeopathy, for giving me an opportunity to speak few things, to share a few things in front of you all. my special thanks to Dr. Ganashri, Dr. Dhruva, and all PG student, all other PG student, PG friends who have assisted in bringing up this webinar. Thanks to everyone. I am very much thankful to all the scholars of Ayurveda who have joined and made this webinar successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Really, we can say it was a stunning webinar, sir. No words to explain. Still, I'll request our HOD, Dr. Madhu Javi, sir, to the vote of thanks, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna.
How to stop?
Stop sharing.
चैट्स में कुछ नहीं आया ना अभी.
How to stop this? I don't know. Screen sharing.
There are some questions. Yes.
Right. Done.
Yes, sir. There is a question from Silvina Fernandez, sir.
Pardon?
There is a question from Dr. Silvina Fernandez. Sir, whether all infectious diseases or other conditions which result in neurological manifestations should be considered as Pakshaghata.
Can you repeat?
Whether all infectious diseases or other conditions which result in neurological manifestations should be considered as Pakshaghata.
Whenever and wherever infective diseases affects nervous system, then we need to consider Ekanga Roga, Pakshaghata or Sarvanga Roga, or something else, or some such as that is Kanja and Pangu. Kanja and Pangu. So Kanja and Pangu, Vayu Katyam Stha, Taknaha Kandaram Akshipe Yadaha. That is, if you go through poliomyelitis, the organism has a special predilection for the nervous system, that to lumbosacral plexus. That to lumbosacral plexus. So infective disease anywhere in the nervous system can result in different manifestation. Based on the clinical manifestation, we need to name. It may be Kanja, Pangu, or it may be Ekanga Roga, it may be Paksha. See, this Pakshaghata is a clinical terminology. And infective disease leading, that is infection is a Samuttana Vishesha. It is a etiological diagnosis. So etiology, any etiology can produce Pakshaghata, as explained in the presentation. So whenever an infection affects the nervous system, depending upon the site, it is going to produce a manifestation. And accordingly, it is named. That's it. Hope I answered.
I think Dr. Silvini is satisfied, sir. The next question is Dr. Madhuri Hegde. She is wishing you a namaste. What is your view on role of AMA? What is your view on role of AMA in the pathology of Pakshaghata? How to differentiate it from Margavarana pathology?
Good question. That's a very big topic, huge topic. AMA, the understanding of AMA is a huge topic. Generally, whenever we say AMA, we have a tendency to say AMA is Usmanovala, nothing more than that. Amam anarasam kechit manasanchayam pratama dosha dustincha kechidamam prachakshat. We forget this particular issue. And in the context of Pakshaghata, let me focus on the topic. In the context of Pakshaghata, pratama dosha dustincha kechidamam prachakshat. Dosha dusti itself is Ama. Of course, there is a description in Charaka Samhita. There is a description in Charaka Samhita, Jwara Chikitsa, particularly Khapaja Jwara Chikitsa, where Chakrapani says Langana is advised, and Langana is advised in Amas, and he says Langana is also advised in Margavana, and he says Margavana is Ama Chikitsa and Margavana Chikitsa are same. He says Margavana and Ama are same in that context. So I can give you the reference also, number also. I may have to search, but I can search and give you. That description is there in the Samhita, no doubt. I will quote at the earliest that reference. Right, proceed. Some other questions.
Again, there is a question from Dr. Neelakant Sanjanar sir between Margavarodha and Avarana. Dr. Swasthya, is asking, all infective diseases which gives presentation of Pakshaghata can be considered in Pakshaghata, but all infective diseases with neurological manifestations cannot be considered as Pakshaghata. I don't know.
The term Pakshagata is just a clinical term. If one half of the body is non-functioning, unable to move a limb, upper limb, lower limb, then it is said as Pakshagata. It is that much. It doesn't signify a specific neurological condition. It doesn't specify a specific neurological condition.
Okay, sir.
Okay, answer.
Yes, sir. No other questions, sir. By the time, no other question. Okay, sir. Now, first of all, HOD Dr. Madhav Digavi, sir, to present vote of thanks. Sir.
Regarding Ama, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Ama and Avarna.
Yes, sir.
Ama and Avarna, the description from right. Just a minute. I will take one time.
So, yes, sir. Take your time. Sir.
That is Charaka Chikitsa, 3rd chapter, shloka number 139. यदुक्तं वायुर्धातुक्षयात् कोपो मार्गस्य आवरणेन च इति यस्तु मार्गावरणेन वायुः कुप्यति सा आवरकधर्मितया प्रायेण सामो भवति तत्रश्च लङ्घनं मात्राय कर्तव्यम् एव यदुक्तं सामे वाते अपि लङ्घनं. This is Charaka Chikitsa, 3rd chapter, shloka number 139. Chakrapani.
Okay,
right?
sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any questions?
Sir. From Gopi Krishna Acharya.
Yes.
It was an excellent presentation. Sir, please specify the Sannikrishta and Viprakrishta Nidana in Pakshaghata.
I strongly believe Sannikrishta, term Sannikrishta and the term Viprakrishta refers, explained in relation with Doshako, not with Vyadi as such. In relation with Vyadi, it is Pradhanik Hetu, Vyabhichari Hetu, it is Utpadak Hetu, it is Vyanjak Hetu, whereas in relation with Dosha, it is Sannikrishta, Viprakrishta. I mean to say, we have Dosha Hetu, we have Vyadi Hetu, we have Ubhay Hetu. In relation with Vyadi Hetu, it is Pradhanik Hetu, Vyabhichari Hetu, Utpadak Hetu, Vyanjak Hetu. In relation with Dosha Hetu, it is Sannikrishta, Viprakrishta. Hope I answered Dr. Gopi Krishna sir.
Sir, here, sir. Next, Dr. Madhuri Hegde is giving you a question, sir. It was a nostalgic session for your students, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Abhijit Narayana is asking a question, sir. First, he is saying thank you. How can the treatment protocol differ from stroke, that is ischemic or hemorrhagic, and the pakshaghata due to post-surgical removal of a brain tumor like glioma, etc.?
Glioma. This one condition, glioma, tumors, brain tumors. That is Arbuda, context of Arbuda. Of course, we know that Nidanarthaka Roga. We know that Upadrava as a complication in such occasion. Whenever it is a Upadrava of a particular illness, we have to follow the guidelines given in the text only. And regarding the Margavana, Sopastamba Vyadhi Chikissa is explained elaborately. Charaka Chikissa, 29th it seems. Right? So Margavana Chikissa is explained in Charaka Chikissa 29th. And Sopastamba, Margavana. Then once becomes Nirupastamba, then we have to go for adopt the routine treatment. And regarding the hemorrhage, of course, we need to consider Madhamurcha Sannyasa, that is Shonita Bishanda, along with the management of Pakshaghata.
Sir, there are many comments. Dr. Veena is saying thank you. Dr. Swarna Ballal also is saying thank you. It's really refreshing to hear you again, sir. She's saying, okay, sir. No further questions, sir.
Hope audio quality was fine.
Yes, sir.
Right.
There
Thank you.
couldn't have been a better session than this, sir. So now I will hand over to our HOD, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Prasanna.
Namaste, sir. Namaste. Namaste.
It was a mind-blowing session. You have really done a right job. Title, elucidation of Pakshaghata. We are seeing a change in Shamsha Kalpanas. Today is the third in the series of Pakshaghata. From first speaker to second speaker, second to third speaker, lot of new things are coming. Our purpose was to see Pakshaghata by different scholars. All 15 scholars will speak on this. We are third among them. We have done an excellent job Triteya in Pakshaghata. And it's a new guideline for research workers in Kaya Chikitsa, research workers in any disease of Ayurveda. They have given a beautiful platform. I was very much pleased by your cross references for some of the untouched areas of Pakshaghata. To quote Gayadasa's reference, the sudden onset and as well as nighttime onset of Pakshaghata Lakshanis. Excellent information on disease understanding, clinical understanding. It was really useful for practitioners, postgraduates, research scholars on the subject, as well as teaching faculty members, and even house surgeons. I am very much thankful to you. There is a public demand that we should have continuous interaction with Dr. Prasanna in future also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Our future booking for your presentations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
For our principal and all the administration of Tarnath Government Ayurvedic College, PG Department of Kaya Chikitsa, and all the delegates. I am very much thankful to you for giving your time. Of course, yesterday was your hectic traveling. Still, you have made out your time to give us a different angle of thinking. For a clinician, to choose a drug, things where we have to understand so that avastika chikitsa, lakshanika chikitsa, or samprapti vigatana chikitsa is made easy by your it was actually a melodious voice. Your presentation style is good, and never we got, nobody got bored, and presentation was easy going. It's all because of your untired efforts, continuous satata adhyanam, and your dedication. Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Close ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, one and all.